Commentary on Revelation 21, 1-8. Revelation 21 opens with a sweeping declaration of transition. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away. This language is not concerned with the dissolution of the physical cosmos, but with the passing of an old covenantal world and the unveiling of a new order. Throughout prophetic literature, especially in places like Isaiah, the language of heaven and earth often signifies a governing system, a structured order under which a people exist. What is being described here is the end of the Old Covenant age and the full manifestation of the new. The phrase, "there was no more sea," carries symbolic weight. In apocalyptic and Jewish thought, the sea frequently represents chaos, separation, and the restless nations. Its absence signals the division and instability that once characterized the former age. The world defined by distance from God has given way to one defined by nearness. John then beholds the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. This city is not a physical metropolis descending through the sky, but a people, a covenant community. The imagery of a bride points directly to relational union. The New Jerusalem is the fulfillment of what had long been anticipated, a people fully united with God. This aligns with earlier apostolic teaching, particularly seen in Ephesians, where the community of believers is described as being built together into a dwelling place for God. The declaration follows, "Behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them." This is the climax of redemptive history. What had once been mediated through temples, sacrifices, and priesthoods has now reached its fulfillment. The dwelling of God is no longer localized or conditional. It is fully realized within his people. The separation that defined the old covenant has been removed. Verse 4 presents the effects of this transition. God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain. These are not merely promises of a distant future, but declarations of covenantal reality. Death here is best understood as the death associated with the law, the separation and condemnation that came through it. With the passing of that system, its accompanying sorrow and burden are also removed. The former things, those tied to the old order, have passed away. The one seated on the throne declares, "Behold, I make all things new." This is not a process that stretches indefinitely into the future, but a decisive act tied to the fulfillment of the age. The newness described is rooted in completed work. The command to write underscores the certainty and present reality of what is being revealed. Verse 6 continues, "It is done. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end." The phrase, "it is done," echoes completion language, indicating that the redemptive plan has reached its intended goal. The identity of the speaker as Alpha and Omega emphasizes total authority over the unfolding of history, from covenant initiation to covenant fulfillment. The invitation follows, "I will give unto him that is athirst of the fountain of the water of life freely." The language of thirst recalls prophetic promises and earlier teachings about living water. The key emphasis is freely. What is given here is not earned, merited, or maintained through human effort. It is granted as a gift, flowing from completed work rather than ongoing obligation. Verse 7 speaks of inheritance. "He that overcometh shall inherit all things, and I will be his God, and he shall be my son." The overcoming here is not a call to sustain striving under law, but participation in what has already been secured. The identity of sonship is central. Relationship replaces regulation. Verse 8 contrasts this reality with those characterized by unbelief and resistance. "The fearful and unbelieving shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death." This is not describing an endless post-mortem punishment in a distant realm, but the judgment associated with the passing of the old covenant order. The second death represents exclusion from the life of the new covenant, particularly as it relates to those who remain bound to the former system and rejected its fulfillment. Taken together, Revelation 21, verses 1-8, presents not a distant end-of-world scenario, but the unveiling of a fulfilled redemptive reality. The old order, defined by law, separation, and mediated access, has passed away. In its place stands a new creation characterized by union, completion, and freely given life.